Next up, we've got our building regulations. Building regulations 2018. Building regs 2018. So we've got a couple of tabs for these. So we've got one with our forms, which is what we'll do first, which will go across the top. And then we've got our custom tabs to go up the sides as well. But first of all, I've got a couple of stickers on the inside. So the stickers on the inside is stating all the building forms and also talking about what our building regulations objectives are. So I'm just going to put those in on the inside cover of the book. Once that's done, then we'll start working our way across the top on the tabs. Putting the sticker that states all the different building forms in the cover and going to put in this, which is talking about what the objectives of this book are as well inside the cover. And then we'll start doing the tabs across the top first, which will be all our different forms. Once they're done, then we're going to do our side tabs. So there's our stickers on the inside cover. Nice. Then going to kick off with our forms. So you will notice we have these black and red forms, and it starts down at section form 1 through to form 25. So we're going to run these across the top so you can get to your forms at any time. So first up, I'm going to find where this particular book has its form 25. So some of our forms there now. Form 22, form 25. Form 25, which is a barrier improvement notice, for this particular book is on page 357. And this is the tab that I'm going to put up the top here, form 25. And I'm going to then just be working my book forms back in for the different forms. So on 357 in this particular one, I'm going to put my form 25 tab in the top corner. Top corner, form 25. Nice and simple. So then after my form 25, I just go back one page to page 355, and that is where I'm going to find my form 24. So I'm going to put my form 24. I'm just going to work them in. First 5 in black, then the next 5 will be in white, and then I will go back to the outside and work my way in. It'll keep it very easy to be able to find the right number forms. So on page 355, I'm putting in my form 24 tab to match with my form 24 that's on the page. I'm just going to work my way across with these particular tabs, just so that we've got them working their way across, like so. So that's my form 24.
Hey, Trev, sorry, mate. Is there any reason why my book is different pages as well?
It could be your print date.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, depending on how old your book is, pages will move.
All right, no worries.
So, yeah, like all the legislation books, that's why I keep talking in sections and regulations, not page numbers. So, form 23, So just working my way back in on the forms. Form 23, then turn one page, I've got Form 22, which is page 351 in this particular book. Just working my way in. Just so that if I get asked about a form, I can get to the form very quickly. So Form 22, Form 20 and 21 are all on the one page, which is our cancellation of registration or suspension of registration. So I'm actually going to go through here, put 2 on this particular page. So I've got my Form 20. So literally just working my way, just doing the pages back, Form 19. I'm just going to do up to Form 16 here, and then I'm going to revert back to the start. So pretty straightforward through here. If you want to race ahead, feel free. In these particular ones. Then to Form 18. You should get familiar with your book. Form 17. Form 17, into Form 16, which is the good old occupancy permit. Once I've done that, and I've got 5 whites there, so I've got 10 tabs across the top. Then what I'm going to do is the next one, Form 15, I'm going to start back on the outside corner. And work it across so that we just have the variance in colours. So Form 15 starts out here, like so. So I'm just covering over. Form 14 into Form 13, so it's very straightforward. Form 12 into Form 11. 11 down to Form 10. So just working these across the top. Into Form 9. It's very straightforward. Okay, Form 8. Into Form 7. Into Form 6. That's my protection works run. And Form 5, I just kick back out to the start and just work the last 5 in. So Form 4. Form 2, the final Form 1. When you get to Form 1, don't move on from that page because that is going to be the first page that we're going to kick off with something else for the side tabs. So that is my tabs across the top all done. It finishes that sheet. But you will notice in the second sheet, we've got a schedule for forms tab, which we're going to put down the bottom corner here. So we're going to match that with pay where our Form 1 is. So in this particular case, page 259 is where my schedule for forms Form 1 is. So I'm going to put this one down the bottom corner of this tab. So I'm going to set up so that that one always stays clear for all the other tabs, so I can also get to there nice and easy. Okay, so the next tab is going to be exemptions for building work, which is up here, which is all around our Schedule 3. So if we work back just from there, you'll notice we have this section called Schedule 3, which is exemptions for building works. And if you go to and find this section here, Schedule 3, exemption for building work, this particular page 269 is where I'm going to be putting that tab. So this is where it states about a 10 square metre metal shed, does not need a permit, certain size pergolas and heights, locations where it does not require a permit. So that is where I'm kicking that one off. After that, we've got occupancy permits. In the occupancy permit section, I'm going to be putting that on section 186. So regulation 186, which I will give you the page number when I get there. (186), which is page 179 in this particular case. So I will just put in this tab, occupancy permits, in there. After that, we've got our mandatory notification stages. Mandatory notification stages, which is going to be on page or section 167. So 167, which is page 169, is where I'm putting in my mandatory notification stages. So mandatory notification stages on page section 167, which is the 169 in this particular case. After that, I'm going to put in static water supply, which is section 160 to do with firefighting. Section 160 or regulation 160, which is page 153 for static water supply. Static water supply. After static water supply, which is regulation 160, we're just going to flip the page to where it starts with 156, which is bushfire safety. Regulation 156 on page 149 for bushfire safety. So regulations have a whole lot on bushfire safety. After our section on bushfire safety, we're going to go to section 150 on termite risk. Section 150 talks about termite risk. This is page 145 in this particular book. So we've got our termite risk in section 150. After our section 150, we are going to be dealing with pool safety. So pool safety is going to be all about section 147, 147A. On 147A is pool safety, page 117. Page 117 is where we're putting in pool safety. After pool safety, we've got definition of an owner. Definition of an owner is going to be section 144. 144 is definition of an owner, which is page 109 in this particular book. The definition of owner, page 109. After Regulation 144. We're going to Regulation 127, which is to do with pile driving records. Record of pile driving, which is page 103. A lot of information in our regulations. So record of pile driving, page 103, which is Regulation 127. After Regulation 127, we're going to be dealing with demolition. Demolition is Regulation 117. Regulation 117 says demolition. Page 95 in this particular book. So demolition, page 95. After Regulation 117, we're going to be dealing with Regulation 113, which is Protection Works Notice. So page 93, Protection Works Notice. Protection Works Notice, page 93. After section 113, we've got our Protection Works Notice information, which is on over the page on in section 111, which is where we put our Protection Works Notice, which is page 91. Protection Works Notice, or Protection Works. After Protection Works, we've got our building projections. Building projections is going to be to do with section or Regulation 98. 98 talks about projections on street alignments, which is page 85 for our building projections. Building projections, which is on 85, which is all to do with section 98 or Regulation 98. After that building regulations, we've got our front fence heights. Front fence heights have to do with table 89, which is in Regulation 89. Which is this one right here, which is on page 77 in this particular case. So it's to do with Regulation 89. It's our front fence heights. Front fence heights, Regulation 98. After Regulation 98, we've got overlooking. Overlooking is Reg 84. Regulation 84 has to do with overlooking. Okay, that's as high as I'm going in this particular book, and then I'm going to kick back down the bottom again. And I'm going to kick down on the bottom again on to do with Regulation 80. Regulation 80, Part 4. So Regulation 80, Part 4 talks about boundaries, walls on boundaries. So page 67, I'm going to do my walls on boundaries. Now, this walls on boundaries, I'm going to have a one up from the bottom so that I keep that forms for the Schedule 4 forms, their section clear. I'm just going to come up one, is where I'm going to put my walls on boundaries. After my walls on boundaries, I'm going to be doing car parking. Car parking is section Regulation 78 is car parking. And so I'll be doing this on page 65, which is car parking. I do believe my permeability will be over the page in this particular case, because it is also section 77 for permeability. Just depends on your book. Some books have it on the same page, some don't. So on page 63, regulation 77, permeability. Is where I'll put that one in. Quite a lot in this book. Permeability, which is section 77. Following section 77, I've got section 76, which is talking about our land area, site coverage, which is regulation 76, page 61 in this particular case. And in this particular case as well, I've also got my building height. So I'm going to be putting my tab for building height on this particular page as well, which is all to do with Reg 75. So Reg 75 for building heights. Again, on page 61 in this particular case. After that, I've got my street setbacks, which is in the table, which I'm going to be putting on page 59. 59 is where I'm putting my table for street setbacks. So page 59 in this particular case, which is table 74. For our street setbacks. After 74, we go to Reg 73, which is maximum street setbacks. 73, maximum street setback. Page 57 in this particular case. Maximum street setback. After that, we've got completion of building work, which is all going to be tied to section 54. 54 is completion of building work. And on the same page, you're probably going to be putting in for section 53, which is commencement of building work. So completion of building work and commencement of building work, both on page 47 in this particular case. We're talking about sections 54 and 53. Okay, after those two particulars, Reg 53 and 54, we've got our display of permit, which is talking about section regulation 40. So regulation 40 says that you've got to make the permit available. So this is where I'm putting in my display of permit. Right there. After display of permit, I've got issuing of building permit, which is section 35, which is the time frame for the building surveyor to issue your permit, which is section 35, which is page 33 in this particular case. Issuing of a building permit, page 33, section 35. After section 35, it's got a permit for swimming pools, which is going to be section 28. Section 28, application for a permit for swimming pools or spas. So that's where I put my swimming pools in. After my swimming pools, section 26, which is also on this particular page, is where I'm going to put in my permit for demolition. So permit to demo will be also on page 27. After section 27, we go to section 25, which is our application for a building permit. There like so. After that,
Sorry, Trevor. So that is that 25 or 24 for that one?
25, application for a building permit to construct or alter a building.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. After that, I go to my definitions, which is section 5. So section 5 is here on page 3. Now I'm going to start this one down the bottom because I've got my definitions and I've got my commencement on the same page. So rather than having tabs at either end, have them together. So one up from the bottom, definitions, followed by my commencement. Which is all to do with section 3. Both these on page 3. Final one, which is on page 1, which is the objectives of the regulations. And that then finishes this particular book. So that gets our building regulations out of the way.